all along the way, the last several months, we have heard that this is a movie that had a $200 million budget. Well, all of a sudden yesterday, in nearly every single trade, a different number got reported. All of a sudden, everyone's saying that this budget is around $250 million. Keep in mind, it was originally projected they wanted to keep it between like 150 to 200. Apparently, it ballooned up to $250 million. This is also a movie that's been marketed maybe more heavily than anything we've seen from Disney recently in an effort to protect it, in an effort to promote it, in an effort to do anything they can to combat the negativity surrounding it. So I wouldn't be surprised if this marketing budget is at least up there with what we've seen from Marvel recently, which is around $150 million for something like Thor: Love and Thunder or Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. If that's the case, we're talking about closer to $750 or $800 million just to break even. That is a much different story. And now we're starting to hear what the projections are as we go up to the release of this movie. Box office, The Little Mermaid swimming to $120 million plus over Memorial Day weekend. Keep in mind, that's not the traditional 3-day weekend. That would be the extra Monday included. Now, some people are saying up to 135, 140 Memorial Day weekend. That would certainly be much more positive for them. But as you look at everything, one of the things that people are noticing is it is coming in way less than projections for even something like Aladdin that we had several years ago. Little Mermaid to be part of that world with a $180 million global start this weekend. Keep in mind, a few years ago, Aladdin did $207 million worldwide. Much better international numbers than are projected from something like The Little Mermaid, albeit Little Mermaid's normal domestic projections are a little bit higher than Aladdin. Put it in perspective. What did we have last year? Top Gun Maverick, $250 million global opening weekend during this same exact Memorial Day time period. Same thing time the Aladdin release, Memorial Day as well. Those are all the comparisons right now for Little Mermaid. So now, with a $250 million budget, you could be looking at something that is going to need a lot of help to have the legs, to have the good word of mouth, to be able to break even.
What's crazy is it just seems like Disney, this company, will be happy for breaking even because they could say, hey, look, it was a success. We did $800 million. Forget about what everybody said online. Forget about all the trolls, the bad people, the YouTubers. Our movie was a success, and we could hang that banner saying, look at us. We did it. We broke the glass ceiling. We have a new Disney princess star. But in reality, it's like a pride issue with them. It's bizarre that this company acts this way, where like they don't want to make a profit.
It's definitely an optics issue too, and not a lot of people understand. There's a lot of people out there that either when we make videos or they hear it on the news or whatever, they see, hey, this movie made $500 million at the box office on a $250 million budget. And they think, wow, it made $250 million of profit. What are all these people talking about? That's not the case. To break it down a little more for people that don't quite have an understanding, obviously, the theaters get money from all of this too. Here in the United States, the studio gets about 55%-ish from the movies that are out there. So if a movie makes, say, $1 billion at the domestic box office, which would be outlandish, right? Say it makes $100 million. That's closer. $100 million domestic box office. The studio gets about $55 million of that. That's it. Internationally, it's a different story. In places like the UK or France or Japan, whatever, you're talking more like 40%. So for $100 million internationally, you're only getting 40% of that money. For China, it's way worse. China's like 25% of the money goes to the studios. So you have to keep all that in mind when you're looking at these massive fucking budgets and realize that, yeah, a movie that hits $700 million on a $250 million budget, a massive marketing budget, that's probably something that didn't break even. Yet a movie that only has an $80 million budget that makes $500 million, that's a massive success because they're actually putting money in their pockets. And some people just can't understand that. But I think Hollywood likes it that way.
What I think the bigger issue is that I guess they're hoping to make money on with merch sales and other little things like that. By promoting this film, they would think that people would want to buy these plushies and whatever else they're trying to sell. What we've seen, the Little Mermaid live action merch section, wherever they're selling them, is like right next to the Star Wars section. It's very, very small. And so I don't know how they're going to recoup that either. But then I guess like they'll make more money on the DVD sales or the digital downloads, things like that. I mean, possibly, but it just still like to me, it just seems like a huge waste because still you don't know. You don't know. And then it'll be like, hey, well, we're gonna be on Disney Plus and they're losing subscribers as fast as they can gain them. I think for them, I think it's just an optics thing. It's
You
just like,
know,
look what we did.
these budgets are just getting insane,
Yeah.
specifically with Disney. Obviously, Flash is about to come out. That's got a massive budget too, reportedly. But keep in mind, Top Gun Maverick, where they were actually flying fucking jets, that had a budget of $170 million.
Mm,
That's $75 million less than these movies from Marvel that look like they're made in a fucking green screen
yeah.
closet. You know, so I really think that Hollywood needs to take a look at these things and realize you don't need these mega budgets. You can scale things down. You can do things in a smarter way and actually get that return on the investment because it's unsustainable. In my opinion, budgets like this are unsustainable
I
in the current
agree.
climate in Hollywood.